Hey Sagittarius, thanks so much for tuning into the channel. It's Romy here. This is your September intuitive reading. So if you have Sagittarius sun, rising or moon, it may well resonate for you. My readings are a combination of working with the tarot energies, connecting with my guides and tuning into the astrological influences for the month ahead. So if you're enjoying my work, please do drop me a like and a comment, and you can also join me for the extended reading. All the information for that is in the description box below. So let's go ahead and see what's coming up in September for you. Okay, Sagittarius, so Virgo season is 10th house for you. So it's activating those energies where you're looking at your career, you're looking at long-term planning. And the big news for you this month is that your ruling planet Jupiter is moving direct on the 13th of this month. It's also trining with the sun on the 9th. And so collectively, these dates are going to be real beautiful moments through this season that you can start to recognize so much of the growth that's taken place and really be the beneficiary of some expansion, some good things coming to fruition, a little bit of reward coming your way. And we open up your reading with the energy of the Queen of Swords. I like this air elemental for you because I feel like she's standing in a place of position and authority, very aware of what she's been through and what she's gained from the experience. And I think that there is this kind of no-nonsense quality that you're going to apply to this month of September. You know, the earth medicine that we receive during this season can be really helpful for us to focus upon the real and the tangible. And, you know, there are some beautiful moments of growth and kind of recognition coming in through this time. And I feel like you're just ready to take advantage of that opportunity to speak what's on your mind, to use that wisdom very wisely, and also not to be afraid to kind of stand up for yourself where you need to. So we open up the month with a full moon in the sign of Pisces. It's a emotionally charged placement for it. Yeah, there's also a sextile to Uranus, so slightly unexpected quality coming in with this, activating on your 4th house of home, family, but also kind of linking into what's going on in the internal for you, Sagittarius. And, you know, with that Queen of Swords coming in, you know, she's almost slightly emotionally detached. So what you might find is that any kind of drama or chaos or anything that feels a little overwhelming in and around that full moon, I think you're choosing to take a position of almost like that place of neutrality, you know. And Mercury actually moves into Libra on the 5th, just after the energy of that full moon, sort of helping to bring in some diplomacy and balance and, you know, really being able to see all sides of a situation. And I think that's going to be quite important. I feel in some instances you're going to have to take the high ground. And in a way, I kind of see you looking through the eyes of like, almost seeing people for who they truly are now. And you know what I mean? It's like you've let go of that aspect of who you decided they were in your mind. And I think probably you've been through some experiences lately, Sagittarius, that's shown you a different side of people and the energies around them. And, you know, it doesn't mean that you have to then hold them in a place of judgment. It's just that you're now much more informed, okay? And I think that if you are now taking on board like your own medicine from what you've learned in that experience, it means that any of the words that you hear, yes, it can shape you, but really it's your voice that's the strongest in this situation, okay? And I think that's going to be important. So as we have a focus in and around what's going on within your career through this Virgo season in the 10th house, I do think that you're applying and you're making, you know, that new strategy for yourself. Venus moves into Leo on the 6th of the month, and, you know, that's a very warm-hearted, passionate placement. Now, it is in your 9th house of overseas connections, so there's something possibly interesting that might unfold in terms of business or relationships that are opening up overseas for you. So we do have the 3 of Swords coming in next to the Queen of Swords. So, you know, first thing that I want to say is there's just a lot that's changing in terms of the way that you think, all right? The way that you think and the way that you are attaching meaning to some of the emotions that are permeating around you. And, you know, Virgo season wants things to be perfect. It can get a little harsh, it can get a little critical, but I think the truth and the reality is that if we were perfect, we'd never really learn anything. We wouldn't make the progress and we wouldn't feel things. It's through the contrast of feeling the pain sometimes, of going through real challenge and difficulties, that we are able to demonstrate the kind of level of expertise and deep knowledge and wisdom that enables us to make better choices for ourselves and really to experience like the full contrast of everything that life has to offer us. And so in some ways, like, I'm feeling like your awareness of that, because I'm kind of getting a coolness. So even though the Three of Swords can sort of hit and really trigger us on a deep kind of heart wound level, what I'm looking at when I see this is just your awareness of where there has been pain, but there's also just like this decision to move away from it, you know, to move beyond it, because you can see she's kind of like turned in the opposite direction from this. So I just think you're calling time perhaps on the amount that you've given in terms of like grieving something or having to let someone go, and it's just like, okay, like I now just need to move forward with my life. I need to move forward with my life. And, you know, for some of you, if that loss, you know, was something that was incredibly important, it doesn't mean that you're letting the memory of that go. But for others, there might be a little bit more of a toxicity or a negative energy that's attached to that wound or that ache that you're absolutely ready to move past from. And here's the thing, like, even if you stand in this moment in September feeling like you're very far away still from the things that you're trying to bring into that full manifestation in your life, what we're being invited to remind you, Sagittarius, is that, you know, the shortest route to that is really going within, you know. And the Four of Pentacles is kind of that energetic foundation of you building this new level of security from the inside out. Yeah, it's the wiseness that's coming from your Queen of Swords because of what you've been through, and you're now applying it diligently and carefully and methodically to make sure that what comes next and how you choose to build upon all of the experiences are going to sustain you now for the long term. So whether that's impacting you in terms of your close relationships or where your thoughts are in and around, you know, your home and family life, you know, even in your own spiritual pathway, and particularly around the sort of career and job and business aspect of your life with those pentacle energies coming in, I just think you're ready to make much better choices for who you are now becoming. And there is this need for you to make sure that you're honouring that at quite a deep level as we move through this month. The other big news is, of course, Saturn is moving direct on the 29th of this month. And both Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn in your second house. So what it is also demonstrating is that the opportunity for a flow of abundance to come in towards you, and perhaps some of the things that have been held back, or you know, you've maybe lost a little bit of motivation, or you haven't seen the real results or the rewards of the efforts in terms of the investments that you've made, are set to show up, or certainly start to give an indication that they're now moving forward in a more favourable way for you, okay? 17th of the month, when the new moon is in Virgo, is also trining with Saturn, indicating a time of really high achievement coming in. And with your Queen of Pentacles, there's a suggestion that anything that you put your mind to, you're actually going to see some results really quickly coming in through this month of September. Now, that said, I'm also seeing it as this really interesting kind of still point, this moment through the year where we get to take stock and really reflect on where we've come. And with two Queen energies stepping forth in your reading early on, Sagittarius, there is something about you really utilizing that, you know, deeper divine feminine intuition, you know, whether you're male or female, and kind of accessing that part of you that wants to learn and wants to sort of move through the energy in more of a feeling and a sensing way, okay? Now, I do think that as I sort of look at the placement of this Queen of Pentacles underneath the Queen of Swords, in some regards I'm sort of seeing this as the two aspects of you. You know, this is the thinking, this is the doing. all right? And we have moved away from a lot of the emotionally charged energies of earlier in this year, and we've yet to sort of move into the next wave of eclipses that are going to be directly affecting you because they're on the Gemini Sagittarius axis, yeah? So right now this is about the thinking and the doing, and the way that you're applying that, I feel, is going to be incredibly positive for you as you start to see the progress. Now, one of the things that was also emerging for me is that there's this need for you to almost think about the way that things are feeling rather than how they're looking, because I have a sense that you might observe something in your life. It could be the state of a relationship, the state of your health, the state of your progress somewhere. And if you look at it with your physical eyes, what you might be met with is some conflict, is some challenge, is some disappointment or setback. And it would be really easy for you to observe that and from a kind of, a single perspective, just feel like it was the wrong direction, or somehow you were less than, or you hadn't delivered enough, or it wasn't supposed to be for you. And what Spirit are stepping forth with is almost the sense that you have to rise above and beyond that. You have to look toward the future. And actually, as we look out toward the horizon here, there's a lot more light coming in. What you need to remember is that there are things that have yet to come into full bloom. And sometimes the challenge and the contrast, just like what we said about that aspect of things are not always perfect, and they shouldn't be, because out of that are born new inspirations, new understanding, new insights that's going to be so vital as to how you actually are able to rise up and then receive more of the reward moving forward, yeah? So remember through this month, if there are things that you find yourself gazing towards that feel really uncomfortable or disconnected or not as you wish them to be, there's an invitation here to find a level of acceptance that this is not the end of the story yet. Things are half done. You wouldn't kind of pull a cake out of the oven or, before it was fully ready. It wouldn't, negate the, the way that that's going to end up like turning out and how good it's going to taste and how amazing it's going to look. But you're going to get half the story if you try to make a judgment on tasting it like before it's ready, yeah? So there's something about the quality of that energy coming up through this month that I need you to pay attention to, okay? I do see, with both of the Queen of Swords and Queen of Pentacles coming through, that there's a bit of a level of renewed ambition that's also coming through. So I think you'll get some motivation with that Mars and Aries transit. It is going to be supportive to helping you kind of push yourself. Just remember, it also moves retrograde on the 9th of this month, okay? So absolutely do not force things. If you force, here's where you come up against the challenge and then the overwhelm, okay? And perhaps starting to doubt the choices that you're making, or feeling like things are just not clear, and you're almost like taking the wind out of your own sail. I think here is where we want to take that energy of the Queen of Swords to actually keep you very disciplined and almost like emotionally detached at times, so that you're not losing the kind of discernment that you need to remember what your goals are, what your focus is. And I think that's the question you need to be asking of yourself this month. Like, what am I working on and why? Like, what do I want for myself and what am I doing to try to make that happen? It's almost like you just need a reset or a restart around some of these areas. And with Jupiter and Saturn waking up, I do think that's going to come naturally anyway from the energy. So even though Mars retrograde might make you want to take a step back, between them, I think they're going to balance out, and you're still going to see a tremendous amount of growth in the areas that you want to, okay? Ten of Swords is inviting you to let something go, okay? There has to be a point of acknowledging in September what's worth fighting for and where your energy is better served, okay? Because I think it's the difference of like jumping back into that wound energy of the Three of Swords, or actually building something meaningful and deciding that you need to just take a different direction and reorientate your focus, okay? I understand each one of these swords represents a painful battle or something that you've been through, an experience that's very personal and unique to you on your journey, Sagittarius. And it's not always so easy to let that go easily, yeah? That said, we're being given like this element of finite and absolute kind of before and after, you know? There just feels like once you make a decision and come into a place of acceptance about what this represents for you, maybe it's the ending of a relationship, maybe it's the ending of the way that you have been speaking to yourself and holding this flawed version of who you are. Maybe it's connected to another area that you just haven't seen the potential realized, and now you're being invited to say, do you know what, there's still more here for you. And I think this is one of the hardest things for all of us, isn't it, on an individual level? It's like if you pour your heart and soul into something and you don't see the progress of it, it's very difficult sometimes to comprehend that the universe can still deliver everything that you want, but by way of a different package, you know, by way of a whole different set of components. And it's about the level to which we can step into a deeper sense of trust, that is still here for us, and it is, but that there may be a better way, a better energy, a better environment, a better relationship to offer us all of that. So your release, your surrender is, I feel, not necessarily straightforward. I think it's kind of going to stretch you to some degree, but I am also picking up that that kind of almost internal fight, that beautiful fight that might be playing out between you and you, is set to realize something really meaningful in terms of how you actually give yourself permission to change your mind, to create space for something new to come into your life. There are more than one options on the table here, Sagittarius, so we cannot be too closed-minded to the way that we think it needs to go. I think that's what's really important. And I'm seeing this level of ambition, I'm seeing this level of tenacity that comes through this month for you, okay? 10 of Pentacles, and it's gonna pay off. You know, so as soon as you sort of almost come into that place of acceptance, you know, there's something that steps forth to give you a reward, to give you reassurance, really, that it's been worth it. And actually, even at the point where you feel like you might be about to give up, don't be at all surprised if there's a little bit of a flipping of the script and something to come in to really show you that it was all worthwhile and you receive the reward in and around that. Now, I do also think there might be some family stuff going on here, Sagittarius, okay? So you again might be the observer, because I do feel you're embodying that energy of the Queen of Swords more strongly than anything else in this reading today. So the suggestion to me here is that if there is some kind of argument or fallout or just some sort of situation that's arriving within the family unit dynamic, it almost makes sense for you to sort of be the observer to a certain extent, so that you can, I think, one, demonstrate to yourself the growth that's taken place for you already this year, and then also be able to be the one that is the diplomat and that can kind of step forward with a solution that's meaningful, that's going to actually move the situation forward, you know. And I do think that is something that is not only important for you, but just the people that are around you. Now, if this is not connected to blood family, expect it to show up within what you would determine as your soul family. It's those important connections in your life, the people that you are seeing regularly or interacting with. And as we all go through this state of profound transformation and change, there's something that you have to teach, to show, to educate and to inspire, that can help other people to step up and out of their own comfort zones and to recognize and face some of the things that they have going on in their lives, you know. So Two of Wands energy coming through and a choice to make here. Like I said, there's just more than one path. There's more than one road that's going to get you to where you want to go. And perhaps that's why they're putting such an emphasis on you really asking yourself again what it is that you want. Okay, what it is that you want. So not observing with too much credence the things that are all around you at the moment, and trying to feel into the energy of it, and understanding that everything's in a state of flux right now. And in this still point, we're meant to be integrating a lot of what we have absorbed. You know, it reminds me of that quote, you know, you are what you love, not what loves you. I think it was Charlie Kaufman said it. You are what you love, not what loves you. And so I think that understanding and that invitation, Sagittarius, to sort of almost like take away the responsibility of any external thing to have to define you or give you that sense of value or bring to your door the thing that's going to make you feel better or content or whole, and really recognize that, you know, that emotion comes from within you, and wherever you choose to direct it is going to give you the energy that you seek, which means that you can love to the same depth that you have loved before, to another person, to another soulmate, to another place, to another environment, to another job, to another business. I think there's just something about not attaching yourself too strongly and just allowing some of the fate of the universe to step in, because rest assured, I think between now and you know, the next few weeks as we move towards the end of 2020, there are going to continue to be profound changes that take place on your pathway, and this is the beginning of you just really reconnecting to that deeper part of yourself that says, if I can just tap into the essence of what it is that I'm looking for and fully let go as to how that shows up, there's going to be so much more bounty, and there's going to be so much more deliverance of things that I could never have anticipated or fully expected that are going to turn up for me. And when I look at the image of this Two of Wands here, and you know, we've got the gatekeeper, the initiator of this stag, just standing in between the two wands here, but the light is coming directly down from, you know, beyond this mountain pass. It's like you can't yet see everything that's on your way, but you've got guides all of the way, you know. And even though you stop to take stock of things and you're uncertain as to what lies between you and that future path, you are being asked to feel the peace of that, you know. Follow that light, follow that inner knowing that everything that you have been through has purpose and value, and that now you are more awake and more conscious of that, then there is like a rhythm that's available to you, you know. Let's take a look and see how these oracle cards are going to reflect your main reading. Seeing beyond. Yeah, I just think what we've just talked about, you're seeing beyond the wall, you're seeing beyond the mountain pass, you know, you're activating that third eye chakra. It's about what your spiritual self is telling you, and that's not what you're observing, you know. It's like seeing beyond the physical. We're moving into 5D energy now. This is not about the way that you did things before. You're not going to repeat the same lessons because you've totally changed. How could you? Even if you went through the same experience, you would have a completely different understanding of it. You would respond differently. You would speak differently. You would make different choices knowing what you now know. So you just need to find a level of trust in that. She's direct and focused, and she's facing whatever she needs to. She's facing whatever she needs to. But it's that connection into your own innate wisdom that I think is going to be the most powerful voice through this month, okay? I just don't see many other people being able to influence you at the moment. And I think that that's important because... okay, your crystal card is lapis lazuli, which is really echoing that because it's absolutely linking into your third eye. So you've got that indigo color coming through really powerfully. And the reason that you need to kind of almost have that emotional detachment, that ability to switch off from other people's energy, is because there may be some chaos, there may be some disruption that's going on around you. And if you were too open or susceptible to what others' opinions are and you were overly influenced by that, I think you will miss the beauty and the opportunity that's coming your way. You know, your ruling planet Jupiter is going to take you above and beyond. You're seeing beyond. It's going to take you much further than anywhere you could perceive for yourself. And it's going to start to open up the pathway. Lapis lazuli is inviting that divine connection. Now, when you look at the face in the card here, the eyes are blacked out. So again, there's that sense of it's not what you're going to see with your physical eyes, it's what you're going to sense with your spiritual being. Okay, that's what's going to make the difference. Yeah. Now, there are some kind of lightning bolts that are coming in and around this. So I do feel that perhaps there are some shocks or some surprise news or information. Remember, around that full moon in Pisces, there is a sextile to Uranus. So, you know, Uranus comes in and it's always going to bring unexpected news and kind of shock waves because it wants to bring change. That change doesn't have to be negative. It's all about the way that you perceive it. But I do think you need to be open and flexible to there just being completely new pathways forming for you, is kind of what I want to say. And actually, when I look at the energy of these two queens, both of them are very, you know, in a state of poise and grace. So I think that you are going to hold your integrity. You're going to hold your position. And here you have Shiva, very powerful energy with which to work with. And actually, even look, we've got this indigo color that's picked up again in this card, you know, and the kind of galaxy night sky in the background. So you are incredibly powerful in your positioning right now. And I think that you have to use that very wisely. There are choices to make here, and you can do it in a way that's really going to advance you and serve you well. But if you choose to get caught up in anything that feels of a lower vibrational energy, it's almost like gonna drain you very, very quickly. That's what I feel. Sagittarius, this is a general reading, and what I'm going to do now is just pull us a few cards to clarify for our extended. So what I would invite you to do is, if there's something that hasn't come through in terms of a question that you had, please give a focus on that now. And I'm going to pull us a couple of cards just to cover in the next reading. And we will go into that in a little bit more depth. Okay. Right, let's go ahead and clarify this main spread now. So Queen of Swords, bringing in the Seven of Swords energy. And the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. Three of Swords, bringing in High Priestess. And the Queen of Cups here. So maybe I'll be a water sign that you're dealing with. Strong link I'm feeling into Pisces, actually. And I think it will be very much connected into what is in and around this full moon for you, okay? And here we have that Wheel of Fortune, ruled by Jupiter, but of course linking into that quality of Uranus as well, with some unexpected opportunities coming your way. I feel really positive about this for those of you connected to what you want to advance with your work, with your career, job opportunities. So it is going to land well for you. And if you are looking for work, remember those beautiful moments around the 13th, 14th, for just, you know, seeing things open up for you. I am seeing offers and feeling really positive about that for you. Card of the Lovers, maybe a Gemini energy that's coming up here. And of course, Gemini is your polar opposite. So I'm thinking something that you have to gain or to learn from either that energy, which may be embodied as a person, or it's going to come to you in some other form. But there's something about that. Remember, the North Node is in Gemini right now, really setting the tone for the highest expression of our destiny. So something about that is going to be relevant in terms of the energy. So we've got Hanged Man and the Three of Cups here. Maybe there is a little bit of a third party situation going on for some of you, or outside influence. I do certainly think that there is outside influence that is going to be emerging, but you're moving away from it. You're trying to distance yourself from something, okay? And I do think that that will serve you well. Two of Wands. You see, you've got bigger things to focus upon, Sagittarius. Strength and the Ten of Swords. I know that's been a difficult emotional, physical, spiritual experience that you've been going through, but it's the movement forward now. Okay. That King of Pentacles coming in with the Ten of Pentacles there. I'm kind of feeling almost like head of the family, or there's like certainly someone who sort of controls the purse strings or the money or the finances, and it may be a female energy, not necessarily a male, but it's kind of that decision maker as to what's going to happen next. Okay, so we've got Earth sign, and then we have you coming in as Queen of Wands here, Sagittarius. So we'll explore that in a bit more detail. Just put one more for that. Judgment. Okay, decision or something coming to light in and around family dynamic there. Two of Wands bringing in King of Swords. So you've got King and Queen of Swords here at the beginning and end of your reading. Interesting. Kind of holding the space. They're like in another Four of Coins. I just feel like they're an important relationship to one another. We'll look into that a wee bit more in the extended. Okay, and that's your card again coming in, Temperance there. Right, Sagittarius, thank you so much for tuning in to the channel. If it's resonated, please let me know. Drop me a comment, and if you've enjoyed the reading, please do give me a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your support. And if you're joining me for the extended, you'll find the link in the description box underneath, and I look forward to joining you then. Okay, take care.